Welcome to Fraser 365. I'm Tyler Grant, the director of the Forum Internship Leadership Development Program here at Fraser. This past summer, Fraser has hosted 7 interns who have worked across various ministries of our church, and we wanted to give you the chance to hear from each one of them this week. Today, you'll hear from Boucher, who has been interning with our missions ministry. So, Christian, what's been your biggest takeaway for this summer?
I loved the annual conference. I thought it was one of the most impactful things I've done in my life. I was serving with the students for most of the days, and I got to lead a small group, meet the kids on a personal level, play games with them, and really just talk about God with them, which I absolutely loved. I led a small group with the 6th through, I think, 9th graders, somewhere in that age range, and we just had so many good, deep, meaningful conversations. I enjoyed getting to meet the adults and go to worship and just spending time in fellowship with like-minded people. It was just a great time. My other big takeaway for the summer was the relationships I got to build with the people at Fraser. I can remember so many times where I went and sat in people's offices like Dr. Jimmy or Pastor Chris or Jared or Gabe. I went and just talked with them for hours. I remember every Wednesday I would go to Dr. J's office and sit there for 2 hours and just talk about either God or just our hobbies or just what we did. And it was just so fun to be able to be in an environment with all of these smart people and just have fellowship with them. They were my bosses, yes, but they were also my friend. I could go talk to them about whatever came to mind, and that was such a great opportunity I had this summer.
What scripture passage has been speaking to you recently?
Yeah, so I really like 1 Corinthians. Paul is writing, and he kind of tells a story of him and Apollos. He says, I planted the seeds, but Apollo watered them. And I really like this parallel between the two because he never compares the two. He simply says that we both did different tasks, but they worked together in unity. When I look at this story, I see Paul was planting the seeds. Paul was sharing the gospel. Paul was planting the churches. Paul was doing it while Apollos had a different role. He was the guy that came in and watered the seeds. He was the guy that discipled them. And we never kind of get the comparison factor between the two, but more of it takes two to really expand the kingdom. And I've really been honing in on that this summer, that you can't do everything, but what you can do in your specific role is really either plant or water the seeds. And at the end of this story of Corinthians, Paul says that God grew them. Our job is to plant and water, but it's ultimately God who grows the seed.
What encouragement do you have for the Fraser family?
Yeah, I've been trying to remember this all summer, regardless of if you work in the church or if you're a lay member, but specifically if you're working in the church or any church, don't forget why you're really there. Yes, it's a job. Yes, it pays the bills. Yes, it's serious, but you've also been given a tremendous gift and been placed in an environment where you can plant seeds and help water them. You've been placed in a position where you can work firsthand with people. You've been put in a job where you can help expand the kingdom. You can make heaven crowded. You can do great things. So don't ever forget what you're there for. Don't ever lose focus on what you're there for. And even if you're a lay member and your job isn't in the church, the job you're at, you can do the same thing. No matter where you are, you can share the gospel. There is no limit to that. You can take it where you are, and that's one of the greatest things about the gospel.